All right, let's get to this TJ Watt conversation. So Myles Garrett recently requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. And some people like Mark Madden think TJ Watt is in a similar boat and that he should basically do the same here in Pittsburgh. He tweets out, says TJ Watt is the same situation as Garrett. He just won't admit it to himself. There's levels to this, but because there's Browns level incompetence, right? There's Browns level of being a disaster of a franchise, an organization. There's Browns levels to that. And teams like the Browns, teams like the Jaguars, teams like the Titans, a bunch of these other teams, that's what makes the Steelers look good. That's what makes us look good compared to like the bottom half of the league, to where we could get away with saying, "Oh, look at us. Like, we're winning 10 games. We're above the mean. We're above the NFL mean. Like, we're one of the top 12 or 15 teams in the league year in and year out." So there's levels to this, but in terms of hitting that ultimate goal and winning a Super Bowl, you could say TJ's in a similar situation to Myles Garrett, because even though we are more confident than the Browns, we are more in the mix than the Browns. We're more relevant than the Browns. Like, I still think we're a far way off from winning a Super Bowl unless certain changes happen, like finding an elite quarterback or changing our coaching staff and philosophy. I kind of get what he's saying there, kind of, because let me spin it to you this way. Let me put it to you this way. If TJ Watt requested a trade and gave the same reasons as Myles Garrett, would anyone blame him? Because that's where I think a lot of Browns fans are with Myles Garrett. That's where NFL fans are with Myles Garrett, is like, no one blames him at all for tweeting out what he tweeted out and saying, my goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. My goal was to go out and win Super Bowls, and I don't think it's happening here in Cleveland. I've been here 8 years. It's time for me to move on and find somewhere else. I'm requesting a trade. Would anyone blame TJ if he said something similar? Of just like, I'm maybe not as heavy-handed as what Myles Garrett said. Maybe he would just say, like, I love the city, love Pittsburgh, but I think I'm just ready for a fresh start. I don't think anyone would blame him. I really don't. Now, TJ, being who TJ is, said that he wants to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. You guys know that. I don't want to leave this place, especially in this. He's saying, I want to be a part of this solution. I've put so much into it here. I've seen so many guys. I mean, I want to help Cam Hayward get to where we need to get. I want to be a part of the solution. Don't want to leave this place. I love the people here. And that goes beyond the coaches. It's the fan base, the people, the community. And we owe it to them to get it right. And I want to be a part of the solution, not leave here and go somewhere else. That's not my intention at all. So we love that. I mean, that's part of the reason why we don't want to trade TJ. That's part of the reason why we want to keep him around. He wants to be a Steeler for life. It feels only right that he would be a one helmet guy. Feels only right. But at the same time, if you're talking about winning at the highest level sooner rather than later, if TJ had his concerns, I wouldn't blame him. I definitely wouldn't blame him. Now, the other side of this, though, is, should the Steelers just disregard anything that TJ wants, or TJ's desires here to be here, and say, maybe it's best for us as a franchise to move off of you? It's like, it's just going to be a better way for us to build going forward and rebuild and get this thing back right because of what we could get in return. Like, we're not winning with you right now. We're paying you $30 million. It's almost, it's in a way like the Cooper Kupp conversation with the Rams. Like, you're getting paid this certain amount. The production hasn't really matched that recently. We're not winning to the highest extent because of you. We feel like maybe if, we get some other pieces in here, we could replace you to a certain extent and build up in a different way. Like that could be part of the conversation from the Steelers standpoint. Like, I saw a trade package that was floated out there, TJ to the Niners. It was TJ for a Deebo Samuel, a Jordan Mason, and 2 second-round picks in 2025, 2026. I see the vision for that. I don't know if I necessarily would want to trade for those specific players, but if you're talking about, what if it was Seattle? What if it was like for DK Metcalf and one of their running backs and 2 second-round picks, maybe a first and a second? Maybe you take one of the players out and we get a first, a second, and a DK Metcalf. How is that something you're not considering? Because I said when the season ended, like, based off how we finished and stuff, every player should be available outside of, Jalen Warren. Outside of Jalen Warren, Deshaun Elliott, and Zach Frazier, really. Maybe we could keep JPJ around. Anyone should be available via trade. If the price is right. I'm not saying do stupid trades, but if the price is right, why not? We're not winning with how we got things currently constructed. We're not winning with TJ Watt making $30 million, Minka Fitzpatrick making $20 million, Cam Hayward with his contract. And it's not even just that we're not winning. The defense isn't looking good. We could be paying guys minimum contracts out there to be giving up 28, 30 points a game. It's got to be the right price. I don't want to necessarily trade TJ. But if the price is right and you can get better on offense, you feel like you could build for the future, because TJ's getting up there in age, man. He's 30. Is his value going up as the years go on? I could see him aging good, though. I could see him having a bounce back year next year and getting up to like 15, 16 sacks. I could see all that. I can, but are those 15, 16 sacks? Are we winning a Super Bowl with that? Because we've seen TJ have monster seasons and we still finish 9-8, 10-7, and the defense disappoints in the playoffs. And TJ really doesn't have much impact in the playoffs. And the problem I have with trading TJ, and this is why I'm like going back and forth. The problem I have with trading TJ is, like, I also would want a vision, right? Because it feels like a TJ move would correspond with a new regime, a new head coach, all that stuff. Because the fact that we're bringing back Tom, we still got the same coaching staff. We're in this limbo. We're in this purgatory of, like, what are we really trying to do? We haven't had any of these major changes or major shakeups right now. The only thing we've done is lose an inside linebackers coach. But at the same time, we do want some sort of change, though. And should it be the TJ Watt trade? Should it be personnel changes? But then this is the cycle. This is like the circle my mind's running in right now. If it is the personnel change, if it's a TJ Watt trade or Minka trade, whatever it is, I don't know if I have that much faith in our current vision and coaching staff and philosophy for us to get the most out of the new guys coming in, whether it's on offense or defense. It doesn't even matter. So I'm in a weird spot with the. I mean, we're not trading TJ. He wants to be back. It's not happening, but it's not a stupid idea to think of. If TJ enabled you to get your franchise quarterback, like, it's not even a question. We'd have to make that trade in a heartbeat. But that's the problem is, you're not getting any of the guys that are stamped as franchise quarterbacks for a TJ Watt. You're not getting any of those top 6 or 7 guys. You're going to have to take a risk of, let's get this unproven rookie, or let's get an Aaron Rodgers, or Aaron Rodgers or Stafford. But you don't have to trade TJ to get an Aaron Rodgers or Stafford. Because this is the real answer. It just comes down to this. We got to get the quarterback right. It just comes down to getting the quarterback right. Because all this TJ talk, whether or not we trade him, it's irrelevant if we don't have a quarterback anyway. If we trade TJ Watt and we don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter. If we keep TJ and we don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter. So if anything, that's the case for trading TJ is okay. If we don't have if we know we don't have a quarterback, maybe you trade TJ and build for the future. So how this really should be rephrased is, does TJ Watt hurt us? Does keeping TJ Watt hurt us from finding an elite quarterback in 2025 and beyond? I don't think so. That's why I don't think this TJ Watt trade stuff has to be that pressing. He's not holding us back from finding that. Not at all. But maybe when you're talking about next year, next offseason, depending on how we finish in 2025, that's a different answer. Because we could just resign Justin Fields. I talked about him being a potential answer because of his upside, his talent, all that. You could just re-sign Fields for $10 million, and having TJ Watt really doesn't have much bearing on Fields' play and whether or not he could be the guy for us in 2025. You could sign or trade for an Aaron Rodgers potentially. You could potentially trade for a Matt Stafford. Like, TJ ain't hurting us from that regard, but outside of that, yeah, you may have to have some questions going depending on how the season finishes because of how the money is allocated to that defensive side of the ball with TJ and how having a TJ Watt can keep your team relevant, which halts you from drafting in the top 10 to get one of those guys. And that's the thing with Fields. He's a former top 11 pick. Like, those guys aren't just able to fall into your laps like that easy. A guy with that type of talent. Now, there is a reason for it. His Chicago days were all over the place, helter-skelter. But we saw him turn the page with the Steelers. We saw him start to right the ship, get things going in the right direction. So that's why I think Fields is worth the flyer. We got a guy with all the talent in the world here in-house, former top 11 pick. Having TJ Watt has really no bearing on whether or not Fields can prove to be the guy. TJ Watt doesn't hurt us from finding that out with Fields. So yeah, that's tough to say. I'm not even fronting. That Mark Madden tweet. It's tough to admit. Like, TJ Watt's. There's levels to it. It's not Myles Garrett bad of a situation with Myles Garrett being in Cleveland, because yeah, Cleveland's a dumpster fire. It's not like that. It's not. It's a different type of. It's like it is like a purgatory because it's not bad. It's not bad. You have a little bit of hope, but then you also have the disappointment with that hope, and you're just straddling that line consistently year in and year out, never getting to where you ultimately want to be, and that is Super Bowl and being in legit contention, having a legit chance. Now, making the playoffs, getting double-digit wins, that gives you that hope, but then we see what happens in the playoffs, in these do-or-die games. We're actually not close. We're able to witness that we're not as close as what we thought, and then the cycle continues. So if you just want to boil it down to Myles Garrett doesn't feel like he's in a position to win a Super Bowl with his current situation, and TJ Watt isn't in a current position to win a Super Bowl with his situation, like, it wouldn't be wrong to question TJ saying that. If he put out his press release and said it's time for me to move on, I just don't think I'm going to be able to get it done here. But he didn't. He wants to be a Steeler, and we appreciate TJ for that, man. Like, TJ is a Pittsburgh Steeler. Like, that means something to him. Obviously, the whole being a Cleveland Brown for Myles Garrett doesn't mean that much to him. He has different priorities, and that is winning a Super Bowl. Not saying TJ doesn't want to win a Super Bowl, but being a Pittsburgh Steeler and winning that Super Bowl, being a part of the solution, that's more of TJ Watt's makeup. That's more what he wants to be about. He wants to be a one-helmet guy with the Pittsburgh Steelers, with this organization, one of the most iconic organizations in the NFL. Like, that's all that. So maybe if Myles was on the Steelers, maybe he would have a different outlook on it. And if TJ was on the Browns, if you flip places, maybe TJ is saying something else, and Myles Garrett saying, "You know what? I want to push through here with the Steelers. I want to be a part of the solution." Like I said, there's levels to this. There's levels to this, but man, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm not openly trying to trade TJ Watt. If the offer's something crazy, I think you got to consider if you're able to improve on offense, get younger on offense, be more dynamic on offense, and then draft an edge rusher, draft a couple edge rushers to replace TJ. Obviously, they're not going to be TJ Watt. We know they're not going to be TJ Watt, but do you need a TJ Watt to win games in this league in a serious manner? You need a quarterback. That's what it boils down to. Having a TJ Watt helps. He's going to help. You got to get that quarterback first. You got to. Let me read some of your comments before I get up out of here. I think it was a good show, man. I think we got through some. Yeah, these are some serious Steeler topics right now. Like these are serious things to think about if you're talking about Steelers and their direction and how they want to be doing things going forward. Big decisions here. These would be big decisions. Manny Meek says, I love TJ, but how many years of zero playoff success can a generational talent take? If he wanted out, I couldn't blame him. That's my point. He doesn't want out. Awesome. Like that mentality. You want to stick it out here. You bleed black and gold. Love that. Manny Meeks also says, he takes back Revis is a better example. Was in his prime, left the division for a division rival for one ring, came back. Harrison already had a ring. I guess that wasn't the best example. Oh, you're saying, that it goes back. You said James Harrison left us, won a ring with the Patriots. He actually didn't win a ring with the Patriots. He lost. People were mad, but at the end of the day, he's a Steeler legend first. Yeah, the whole James Harrison ending with the Steelers, that's a whole different conversation. That's awkward. That's very awkward. It just doesn't sit right still. Basically forced his way out for a release and then goes and signs with Benedict Arnold, goes and signs with the Patriots for a few weeks. Ring chases with like our arch nemesis at the time. Like that just didn't hit right, man. It did not hit right. No, he was on the Patriots. I can't remember. I think it was the Patriots team that lost to the Eagles. I think that's the one he was on. Yeah, he's still a Steeler legend, but that ending still, it's like it's like a little bit of an asterisk. It's like, bruh, that was tough. We do kind of forget about it though. Now as the years move on, I don't think anyone's stressing about that with Harrison, but it wasn't good. It was almost like AB going. Remember when AB went to the Patriots too? It's like, nah, come on, man. Come on, bro. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think anyone would blame TJ if he had those thoughts or had those sentiments. I don't think anyone would blame him. But he doesn't, and he's going to be back, and we're probably just going to run it back with everything the same. And because that's the other thing is like, are we just looking for certain things to change? Maybe the answer was get rid of our defense coordinator. Maybe I have a lot more faith in TJ's upside and what we could do with TJ and this defense going forward if we moved off of Terrell Austin. But no, we're just running it back with both offense and defense coaching and staff and philosophy outside of inside linebackers coach, outside of that. So, all right, last question, actually, before I get out of here. This is a good one. He says, Warren over Harris. Who runs point or the other? Jaylen Warren. I think you got to go with Jaylen Warren going forward. I would just move off Najee Harris. And to me, it's not necessarily about who between Warren and what other running backs we bring in is running the point or getting the majority of the carries. I just think we need to get more dynamic at the running back position, and we need to have another guy splitting carries with Warren. To what extent? If we draft a running back in the second round, I feel like you could do a 50-50 split between Warren and that guy. You've drafted a running back in the first round. If you're bringing in a J.K. Dobbins, yeah, they could handle a 50-50 split with Warren. Maybe they could even take a little bit more of the workload. Manny Meeks says Warren and rookie RB, 1A, 1B, got to be our best bet. Yeah, and then I think you also draft another rookie running back in, the 6th to the 7th later in the draft. It's a deep running back class. Hell, I wouldn't even mind it if you. What if you did like second and third round? You did second and fourth round running backs, third and fourth round running backs. You could do that and see who's the best out of those two, and then you still have a Jaylen Warren. I think we gotta get more faster. I think we gotta get faster and more dynamic at running back. Because I think Najee Harris just plays into more of what we've been these last 4 years. Now, you could question, is it the coaching staff that's not giving, and the O-line not giving Najee the best opportunity to be himself, or is it Najee because of his play style limiting the offense and the play calling and all that? Probably a mix of both, but I think it's time to move on from Tutu. But that's it for today's show. We're back again tomorrow, 6 p.m. I don't know what's going to be on the docket. I said that yesterday. Didn't know it was going to be on the docket, but I think we had a pretty legit show today with the pick and stock and the TJ Watt trade talk. So that's it. Here we go, Steelers. Stay chilling. Peace.